Hello everyone, so you might remember a long time ago now, I looked at the Beyond Resurrection forms for the Espada from the Bleach Brave Souls game, and I looked at their designs for the first time and gave my thoughts about how I felt about the designs. I knew at the time that there were also Soul Reaper hypothetical designs called Beyond Bankai, but I was told by my friend and some viewers not to look at those because they might give away future Bankai that hadn't been shown yet, so I was told to wait until I got, to the end of the series. So now that I'm at the end, I am going to look at the Beyond Bankai designs from Bleach Brave Souls, and I think this is all of them. I got sent a file of all of them from a friend of mine. If he missed one, let us know and he can show me and I can fix that. But yeah, we're going to look at them. It's going to be pretty casual. It's just going to be just me giving my thoughts, and hopefully it'll be a little fun to hear, and I'm curious to see what these are like. I've been told that the concept, rather than with the Espada, which was the whole they fused with the Hogyaku and what would they look like, this is if they fused with their Zanpakuto like Ichigo did at the end of the Arrancar arc where he fought Aizen. So I'm very curious to see what that's like and how they're gonna tackle that with the design. So super excited. Let's get into it with our first one. So the first one I'm seeing is Head Captain Yamamoto. So he looks not that different, honestly. He's got cracks. Well, the scars in his body are all kind of being illuminated from the inside. It almost looks like magma, which is pretty cool, but it looks like the fire is kind of inside of him, internalized a bit. It looks like his missing arm is made of fire, which is pretty cool, actually, if it's like permanently that way. And then his other hand is like burnt. It looks just like super heated. But overall, he doesn't look that much different, but I suppose it's kind of cool it's internalized, but I feel like it kind of did that with his Bankai when all the heat got like absorbed into the sword. That Bankai was just amazing, by the way. Yeah, I mean, it's pretty cool. It's a little underwhelming, honestly. I'm not sure, it's subtle. It's subtle. It looks cool, but I'm just it's not a very huge transformation. He looks pretty similar to what he was before. So let's move on to the next one, which is Soy Phone, and she looks very different than usual. I love the color. It looks very much like the bee sting, and her stinger is like huge now. It's like completely covering her arm. Yeah, I like the overall look. The black and gold looks really cool. Looks like maybe she can launch those like projectiles, maybe. It looks more subtle than her giant missile Bankai. It's kind of like it got reeled in a bit. Yeah, she's got very much a bee sting look, which makes sense, especially because of her Shikai. And I always love the joke that she has a stinger missile for her Bankai. So yeah, she looks cool. It's a decent design. I don't think it's anything groundbreaking, but it's cool. It's cool. Yeah, so far these are pretty subtle. Hers is much more of a transformation than Yamamoto's, though. And again, I'm only basing these on the designs. I don't know what these can do in the game. Maybe that would give me some more insight into these, but I'm going solely based off the design. I like it. I like it. Next, we got Yoruichi, which hers is very interesting. It's very fancy, and she's a character we've never seen her with a Zanpakuto, have we? Maybe in like a flashback panel. I can't remember. I don't think we have, or at least not. At least it's not. She doesn't typically use one. But yeah, her sword looks golden and shiny, and her clothes are very aristocratic. It feels like they're really leaning into her family lineage there, rather than any sort of like cat-like, lightning thing. It's leaning much more into her heritage. I think that's pretty interesting. Obviously, it's very different appearance than usual. I got to keep that in mind. They're bonding with their Zanpakuto, so it makes sense that some of these are kind of more internalized, I suppose, because you're kind of embracing those elements. So Yamamoto kind of internalizing his flames makes sense. Yeah, I like this. It's really cool, actually. She looks so different, but it's kind of a nice nod to what she's been running away from in the whole series. It gives me the vibe of when Aragorn takes a shower and is wearing the Tree of Gondor in Return of the King, where he finally embraces his true title beneath everything. Yeah, I like this. This is pretty cool. I think it's maybe my favorite of the three so far. It's such a different look. It's striking. Next, we got Aizen, and his is he merged with it? Looks like he might have like the Hogyaku still, kind of embedded in him. So maybe his is a play more on that, because he's still got that butterfly thing he had going on, but even more so, and there's like mirrors and everything shards. I really like that. It's emphasizing how dangerous his illusions are, you know, he's very, very tricky with all his warped perceptions. I really like this, and like the inside, it's like he's like almost made of energy in the middle. Really like that, because it kind of embraces the whole like trying to evolve into something else, and it's still sort of capturing that look of what he was when he had the Hogyaku. Really like that, while still being sharp and dangerous. Yeah, he's really cool. I like the like negative space with him. It just feels right, because he's kind of trying to become something that isn't human anymore, you know? And it's much more beautiful than what he eventually turned into as he got more and more messed up when he was evolving. So I really like this. It suits Aizen. It's very, very godly, very trippy. I like it a lot. Next, we have Shinji. This is really cool, actually. I love this. I love that it's embracing not just his Zanpakuto, but his visored aspect as well. You've got his skin colors now pure white. He's got these claws, and his hollow mask is out, and it's got both his old hairstyle and his newer hairstyle, and I think that's really interesting. His clothes are kind of like a two-face situation, where it's kind of half of him is representing the hollow, kind of, maybe. It's more, definitely more emphasizing the visored, but maybe that's showing his true nature, where after all this time, that's really where power is coming from. And it's kind of, you know, you turn a Soul Reaper upside down, you kind of get a hollow. So I really like this. He looks really cool. Just on like a aesthetic level, I think he looks really great. It fits his creepiness sometimes, his unsettling nature, and even his what we know of his Bankai now, where it kind of switches enemies and friends. So to have him kind of represent both is very fitting. I really like this. I know these aren't canon, but I kind of wish that one was. I wish Shinji kind of had more of a moment in this in the 1,000-Year Blood War, and that could have been, you know, more of a representing his visored side, I guess. Maybe in the anime. Next, we have Unohana. Got the blood from her Bankai everywhere, but it's even more than, it's got like her was her Shikai that had like the manta ray that was like healing people. It looks like that's like kind of become her clothing, like overlaid on top of her as like these extra layer of robes, and you see the inside beneath is kind of veiny and organic, and it's like it's living on top of her and bleeding out onto her. This is actually really cool. She looks much more regal, but there's also, it's in a creepier, more monstrous kind of way too. There's that, is that the Zanpakuto's eyeball like floating over her? Because didn't that manta ray have like one eye? I think it did. And I love the way it's kind of like the Shikai, like the healing nature is kind of over top all the blood. It's kind of like hiding what's actually beneath, like the real layer below. And the blood's like mixing with her hair, it looks like, and then her braid is unraveling, so it's like showing her true nature and turning into blood, and that turns into, her braid turns into like the manta ray stingray stinger kind of, and the sword that's literally just made of blood. That's cool too. I think what I really like about this one is it, so far I think this is the one that most captures the idea of merging with your Zanpakuto, because it shows aspects of both the Shikai and the Bankai, and with her it's interesting because those things are so different because of the nature of her character, so it actually does a really good job of capturing that duality while bringing it all together, and it feels right for her, you know, it feels dangerous, a little bit nurturing almost. Yeah, I really like this a lot. Aesthetically really pleasing on the eye, and I do think it captures the Zanpakuto merging extremely well. So great job on this one. I love this. Next, we got Sajin Komamura, and this one also very clearly is him merged with his Zanpakuto. His Bankai looked like, you know, this giant warrior in armor, so to see him have those elements of that warrior, it's very fitting. I wonder if he would be as giant as that. It doesn't look like it with this background, but who knows. Yeah, this is pretty cool. I think it captures that idea really well. He looks badass. I love the kind of fiery color on his fur too. Yeah, I think this does a great job of merging the Zanpakuto with him as well. And really, actually, he looks so ferocious here. You know, this feels like that vengeance that he eventually caves to. Feels like it captures that really well. Particularly his Zanpakuto's Bankai, when it sheds its armor, this feels like that as well. So particularly that version merged with him. Alright, next we got Shunsui. And right away, I think that skull element was part of his Zanpakuto spirit. He had the two, but One of them in particular, let me double check that. I'm pretty sure she had an element of that skull. Yeah, it was on top of her head. So the top of her head. Oh, and the other one also had that skull, but so both kind of shared that motif. But yeah, really, I'm not really sure what all the purple stuff coming off of him is, but it seems it's a bit simple compared to some of the other ones. It's not that big of a transformation, but who knows what its powers would be like. It's a bit Shonen-y. It's got a lot of symmetry to it. Yeah, it feels subtle. Feels subtle. I'm not huge on it. I think it could be cooler, perhaps. Oh, this is an interesting one. We got Tozen. Wow, very interesting. So it's him merging with the Zanpakuto clearly, but much like with Shinji, it also seems to be kind of really incorporating that visored kind of aspect to him as well, that hollow part of him that he eventually had, which makes sense since that's, a part of his core now, where he turned into that big bug. It's like a more sleek version of that, where he got to keep more of his humanity, and he didn't get those crazy bug eyes. And then the circles, correct me if I'm wrong, but I feel like wasn't that part of his Bankai when he unleashed it on Kenpachi? It had the circle element to it as well, I believe. This is the drip that I would expect from Tozen, that his bug form rightfully didn't have, and that's part of what made it feel so uncomfortable and unnerving, was that's not how cool Tozen should look, and this is much more his speed. He looks ferocious. I love that it's kind of merged both his Bankai and his Resurrection. I think that's really cool. I like this a lot. I wasn't expecting to see Tozen on here, so that's actually really, really cool. We also got Gin, which I guess if you have Tozen, you're gonna have Gin as well. Now Gin, this is an interesting kind of one, because it's got the snake elements, which of course it should, where it's like kind of these two snakes. Do the two snakes kind of represent the two Gins that he presents? There's the actual Gin, and there's the one that he put on as a performance for like 100 years or whatever. Maybe that's part of it. He's also got fur and like these kind of wolfish, maybe fox-like ears, which he is like a sly fox as well, so I could see that. I'm not sure if that's supposed to be a tail. Maybe it's like a fox and a snake merged together. It feels a little bit basic, especially compared to Tozen's. I feel like Tozen's is way cooler than this. But the snakes also make sense considering his Zanpakuto can like extend. It's kind of venomous with its bite in a way. So it's got the snake-like elements. It's got kind of a fox wily kind of element. It's okay. It's alright. I don't love it. I feel like you could have done something visually more interesting here. Next we have Byakuya, who looks like an angel. And maybe this is if he died and he ascended to some afterlife as a holy warrior. I guess it kind of captures the wind nature of it, the kind of flurries of it. He's got like wings. I assume those are from the blades. He looks really cool and like majestic and holy and angelic, but I'm not really getting much of I would expect more, I don't know, petals? I don't know. Or blades? But maybe all those are blades, I don't know. It's okay. I'm not huge with this one either. I don't know. That one's okay. Moving on. We got Hitsugaya. I like that his hands are more like dragon-y. They're iced over. He's got like dragon horns, and kind of some other dragonish, draconic elements. His Bankai wings are more sleek, and there's like more of them, and they're more of dragon wings, so that's cool. And his robes have like shards attached. I think he looks pretty cool. Everything seems a bit sharper. It's more of like just a slightly upgraded version of his Bankai, but I like that the dragon elements are kind of more on him as well. I know it does that a little bit in his transformation with his feet and stuff, but it feels like a heightened version of that. It's not drastic by any means at all, but it's okay. I don't hate it. I don't hate it. It feels like he merged with Kyoranmaru, so success. Ukitake. Now this is an interesting one, considering we never saw his Bankai, so beyond Bankai, I don't really know where the gauge is for that, because I don't know what his Bankai is like, which was unfortunate. But it does remind me of his Shikai, because I'm thinking of how his Shikai is like connected by the got like cables and then like talismans kind of on it. It's reminding me of that with the way it looks like it's kind of looping around from one side of him to another, connecting the two parts of himself. It feels aesthetically like his Shikai quite a bit. But yeah, this one's tough to gauge because I really don't know much about his powers. He can redirect stuff, we know that, but yeah, we didn't see his Bankai, and he didn't fight that often, so this one's hard to... On a visual level, I think it fits him. I'm not sure about that collar. It's pretty ridiculous. But that kind of just shape reminds me of his Shikai, so as little as to go off of as they probably had, I feel like this works. You know what I mean? I feel like this works. Kenpachi Zaraki, my boy. He looks less demonic than I would expect given his Bankai. But, it's interesting because now he's like dual wielding instead of like a giant blade or a broken blade. Those are interesting swords too. We got one that looks like a cleaver and one that's more of like a I don't know what to even call that. It's much more, it looks like a very sharp, dangerous sword. He's got like a fur on one side and spikes on another and different colored arms. What are we doing here? Is that... Trying to remember what Yashiru, she had the... I'm gonna look this up. I'm gonna look up the image. She had the two spirits with her. Those two like hollow looking guys. Because there was the one that was like fluffy, and there was the one that looked like just straight up like a hollow. Yeah, these guys. Yeah, so this, it kind of seems like that's what they're doing. One half seems like the fluffy guy, and one half of Kenpachi seems like the other one that's more skeletal and sharp. And the swords look similar. I don't think they're identical. But the overall vibe of them is the same. So I think this is, if he merges with his sword, and you know, he's merging with Yashiru, really. Yeah, I guess he would take on the aspects of her Shikai, which that confused me in general, because she's a Zanpakuto spirit, so how does she have those? But I guess it's maybe like diluting parts of him. But I like that, because if he's merging with his Zanpakuto, he would take on some Yashiru elements, and rather than turn him into like a 12-year-old girl, they instead focused on giving him aspects of those spirits that were with her. So I like this, actually. I feel like that makes sense. I was like, why does he look fluffy and sharp? But if it's capturing Yashiru kind of merging with him. So I actually surprisingly like this one. I prefer his Bankai look for sheer aura, but I like this. This is pretty cool. Some of these border on like over-designed, but I don't think this is one of them. I think I'm on the right path with this is supposed to be representing her. Love that, actually. Alright, my boy Mayuri Kuratsuchi with yet another ridiculous fashion headpiece on his head. What to make of this? So this one, this is the only one where it's got like the Zanpakuto spirit behind him so far. So I assume that still would come out even though it's merged with him. And it looks like it's got like wings behind it, which then also makes sense with his headpiece looks like butterfly wings. So it's his caterpillar baby, which I've talked about forever, is now a butterfly baby. And other than that, though, I mean, the weird belt, I guess, is very unsettling. You know, properly Mayuri, there's some bells hanging off of him. It's pretty underwhelming overall. It's hardly a transformation. It feels like he put on a different headpiece, and he does that all the time anyway. This just kind of looks like Mayuri if a new arc started. He would be wearing something ridiculous like this all of a sudden. Besides his Bankai baby looking like a butterfly a little bit more now, but only because of like the weird wings. It's pretty underwhelming, gotta say. I kind of expected better. We couldn't have like merged some of his coloring with the babies or something. I don't know. They're both very striking designs of both those individuals, so I feel like if you put them together, you could have had something really creepy. And instead, it's just kind of boring. Mayuri should never be boring. I don't know what went wrong here. I think this might be my least favorite one, because it just feels like nothing really changed except a wardrobe. I don't know. I don't like it. It should be cooler. This should be way more interesting than it is. Alright, looks like the last one, maybe? And correct me if I'm wrong later, but we've got Kisuke Urahara, and he has got the like puppet fingers around him. which is, you know, kind of like his puppet lady that came out through his Bankai. I'm trying to look closer. I kind of like the idea that there's like strings coming off of those, and maybe the strings are connected to him. There's kind of wrappings around his wrists and his neck, and maybe that's what they're going for here. That he's kind of a puppet now. I feel like I would have wanted that to be more apparent though. It's got some interesting like tiles connected to him. Overall, I also feel like this one's kind of underwhelming. Sorry to say. Yeah, not a big fan of this one either. I feel like you could have done more visually with it. It's all right. It's all right. I'm gonna give that one like a C. All right, so that's all of them. Okay, so I think overall I liked the Beyond Resurrection ones better from what I remember. I feel like there was more dramatic changes for a lot of those. Like I'm thinking about like Yami stick out in my mind. Some of those Ukiora ones, and I just feel like there were some really cool ones from what I remember. There were probably a couple that weren't great either, but I think those overall were probably better than these. If I had to rank these, I'm going to try to rank them right off the cuff right now, guys. Okay, my least favorite, I think, is Mayuri. And then probably Yamamoto would be the next worst. It's not bad, and it does merge him with his Zanpakuto, but it's just kind of boring. And I'm going to go Shunsui, which hurts me to say, but it just feels very basic. It's kind of like they just gave him a wrapping from his Zanpakuto spirit. Next worst, I don't know really what Byakuya's is going for. It looks cool, but I'm not really getting what I would want from it, I don't think. He looks majestic, though. I'm gonna go Byakuya next worst. Ugh, this hurts. And then Ukitake, just because it's hard to go off of anything with him, but it's kind of alright. Then I'm gonna go Hitsugaya. It's not that much of a change from what we usually see with him. I'll go Urahara, which maybe I actually would have lower. I think I like some of these more than that. I'm gonna put him a little bit lower actually. This is right off the cuff, guys. I'm so sorry, but this is what I mean. I'm just reacting to these for the first time and then giving my thoughts. After that, I'll go Gin. I think I like what they're going for here. I just feel like you could have pulled it off in a cooler way. Now we're getting to ones that I really like, so this is going to be more challenging, I think. We're going to go Soifone next. Then we're going to go... Ooh, this is tough. Kenpachi. If it's what I think it is, that's really cool in concept, and he looks really badass, and I love Kenny, but I think I'll put him there. Then Komamura. He just looks really, really cool and vengeful. Then I'm gonna go... what do we have next? We have, I think, 4 left? Or no, 5. 5 left. Then I'm gonna go Aizen. I'll go Aizen. His is really cool, but it's not... I don't think it's the top tier. Then the 4 left, I'm gonna go Yoruichi next. It's regal and beautiful. And maybe it says a lot about what she really is deep down. And I assume her Zanpakuto might be like an inherited sword from her family, so that might be connected to that. Ooh, top 3. I love all of these. I'm gonna go... I don't know. Gosh, this is tough. I'm gonna go Unohana next. Then... Shinji... No. Yeah, I'm gonna go Shinji, and then my favorite one of these I think is Tozen, which shouldn't be surprising. Tozen always has drip, and this looks really cool, and I feel like it's a nice play on that bug, but making him much cooler than that, which kind of goes against what that was, but this is a whole separate thing. So I think what makes Shinji and Tozen's, and Gin should have been like this too, but I don't think they really succeeded. What makes theirs so cool, I think, is the extra aspect of the visored. I think there's more to play with, where you can play with both the Zanpakuto Bankai techniques as well as their hollow sides. You can kind of merge those in interesting ways, and I love the looks of both of these guys. Tough call, but yeah, I'm gonna go Tozen is my favorite here. That could change tomorrow, 10 minutes from now, but at this moment, that's how I feel about these, and I hope this was interesting to hear. I hope this was fun to listen to. I like these. Like I said, I think I prefer the Beyond Resurrection overall, but these are cool too, and the concept's interesting. Some of them I thought were more successful with that concept than others. Definitely, I think some of them kind of missed the mark with representing what their Zanpakuto are like and the different aspects of them. But these top few, I think, did it beautifully. Unohana's, love that. This is great. This is great. So overall, this was fun to look at. I'm glad I finally got to after all this time. It's been like a year, I think, a year and a half maybe since I looked at those. So if you want to see my thoughts on those, that video, I'll link. And yeah, all right. So I still haven't played Brave Souls. Should I play Brave Souls? Will it spoil anything for me still? Because I'm watching filler arcs and going to be reading the light novels. Let me know. All right, that'll do it. Thanks for being here, guys. Take care. Bye.